Imagine standing at a crossroads, facing a decision that could change the course of your life. The options are complex, the stakes are high, and uncertainty clouds your mind. How do you cut through the noise? How do you know which path leads to true success, wisdom, and peace? What if I told you that the key to navigating not just this moment, but every challenge life throws at you, lies in boosting your intelligence and sharpening your critical thinking? Not just raw intelligence as measured by tests, but a deeper, practical wisdom, a mind trained to see clearly, reason soundly, and act wisely. In our fast-paced world, information bombards us from all directions. We face constant distractions, conflicting opinions, and complex problems that demand more than quick reactions. They demand thoughtful insight. Intelligence and critical thinking aren't just nice skills to have. They are essential tools for living well, making sound decisions, and flourishing despite uncertainty. But how do we develop these abilities in a way that lasts? How do we avoid falling into mental traps like bias, shallow thinking, or emotional reactivity? This is where the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers profound guidance. The Stoics, those great thinkers who faced war, exile, and personal loss with remarkable clarity and calm, saw intelligence not as mere knowledge, but as the disciplined use of reason to live a virtuous, meaningful life. Their approach to critical thinking is timeless and deeply practical, offering 10 proven methods you can start applying today. In this video, we'll walk through these 10 methods, from questioning your assumptions and embracing adversity, to cultivating intellectual humility and living according to virtue. Each method is a stepping stone toward a sharper, wiser mind that can cut through confusion and face life's challenges with confidence. If you're ready to take control of your mental power, deepen your understanding, and live with the clarity and courage of a Stoic sage, then this journey is for you. Let's begin together and unlock the secrets to boosting your intelligence and critical thinking, one proven method at a time. Let's start by talking about the very foundation of intelligence and critical thinking from a Stoic perspective. Cultivating rational thinking by questioning your assumptions. It might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. So often we go through life accepting ideas, beliefs, and judgments without really examining them. We take things at face value, assume what we hear or believe is true, and build our understanding on shaky ground. The Stoics knew that wisdom begins with questioning everything, even what you believe about yourself. Imagine your mind as a garden. If you let weeds grow unchecked, false beliefs, biases, assumptions, you'll never cultivate strong, healthy plants. But when you question what's growing, pull out the weeds, and tend to the soil with care, your garden flourishes. That's what rational thinking is about, constantly examining the roots of your thoughts to make sure they're solid. Epictetus, one of the great Stoics, taught that impressions, our initial thoughts and feelings about events, should not be accepted blindly. Instead, you should say, "This impression is not true. I must examine it carefully before acting." This skeptical but constructive stance keeps your mind clear of error and deception. In practice, this means whenever you have a belief or strong opinion, pause and ask yourself, where did this idea come from? Is it based on evidence or just hearsay? Could there be another perspective? What if I'm wrong? This kind of inquiry isn't about doubting everything endlessly, but about preventing automatic acceptance of unverified or biased ideas. Questioning assumptions also helps you overcome mental blind spots. We all have cognitive biases that distort our thinking, like confirmation bias, only seeing what supports what we already believe, or the halo effect, where one good trait makes us overlook flaws. By actively challenging your assumptions, you start to see more clearly and avoid these pitfalls. This method trains you to think like a philosopher, not content with surface answers, but digging deeper to understand the true nature of things. Over time, it builds mental clarity and flexibility, key components of intelligence. Moving to the second method, practicing mindful reflection and self-examination. The Stoics were masters of this. They understood that intelligence isn't just about external knowledge, but about understanding your own mind. Daily reflection allows you to see where your thinking served you well and where it misled you, creating space for growth. Marcus Aurelius famously kept a journal of his thoughts, reminding himself to live according to reason and virtue. This practice of writing down your reflections, reviewing your actions, and asking, "Did I act wisely today?" is a powerful way to sharpen critical thinking. Self-examination means looking honestly at your decisions, emotions, and habits. It helps you identify patterns, both strengths and weaknesses, in your thinking. Are you jumping to conclusions? Are you letting emotions cloud judgment? Are you avoiding uncomfortable truths? Awareness is the first step to improvement. A practical approach is to set aside a few minutes each day to review key moments. What went well? What could I have done differently? What assumptions did I make that I should question next time? This routine builds a habit of critical self-awareness, making you more thoughtful and deliberate. Mindful reflection also connects you to the present moment, grounding your thinking in reality rather than speculation or distraction. It's a way to pause the mental chatter and focus on what truly matters. By combining questioning of assumptions with disciplined self-examination, you create a powerful cycle of learning and improvement. Your mind becomes not just a receiver of information, but an active investigator and philosopher, steadily growing in wisdom and clarity. These two methods, cultivating rational skepticism and practicing mindful self-reflection, are the bedrock upon which all the other methods for boosting intelligence and critical thinking rest. They prepare your mind to engage deeply and thoughtfully with the world, ready to face complexity with calm and insight. Now let's explore the third method, embracing adversity as a tool for growth. This might sound counterintuitive at first. Why would challenges and difficulties help boost your intelligence and critical thinking? But for the Stoics, hardship wasn't a curse to avoid. It was the very furnace where wisdom and mental strength were forged. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Obstacles aren't just barriers, they're opportunities to develop your problem-solving skills, deepen your understanding, and build resilience. Every time you face a difficulty, you're presented with a chance to practice reasoned thinking and to grow stronger mentally. When adversity strikes, your first instinct might be to resist, complain, or feel overwhelmed. But what if you reframe that inner dialogue? Instead of, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this? How can I respond wisely?" This shift in mindset opens the door to critical analysis and creative problem-solving. The Stoics practiced this daily by mentally preparing for possible hardships, a practice called premeditatio malorum, or premeditation of evils. By envisioning challenges before they happen, you reduce fear and increase readiness. Your mind becomes trained to stay calm, assess situations clearly, and act effectively. Facing adversity also teaches patience and humility. It reminds you that you don't have all the answers and that wisdom is a lifelong pursuit. This humility opens your mind to new ideas and perspectives, essential for deepening critical thinking. Moreover, adversity helps you develop emotional regulation, a crucial partner to intelligence. When you learn to manage your feelings in the face of difficulty, your mind stays clear and focused. You avoid the clouding effects of stress and react with thoughtful insight rather than impulsive fear or anger. So, embrace challenges as your greatest teachers. They compel you to question assumptions, reflect deeply, and apply reason in real time. This is the path the Stoics walked, and it's the path to genuine growth in intelligence and critical thinking. Moving on to Method 4, reading widely and critically. The Stoics placed great importance on learning from diverse sources, philosophy, science, history, and more. But it's not enough to consume information passively. The real power lies in reading critically, engaging actively with ideas, and questioning what you encounter. Imagine your mind as a workshop where raw materials, information, are shaped into tools, knowledge, and wisdom. Reading widely provides a broad range of materials, but critical reading is the craft that turns them into something useful. The Stoics recommended studying philosophy because it trains the mind to think rigorously about life's fundamental questions, but they also understood the value of exposure to different viewpoints and disciplines. This diversity prevents narrow thinking and broadens your intellectual horizons. Critical reading means asking questions as you read. Is this argument sound? What evidence supports it? Are there alternative perspectives? Does this align with what I know or challenge my assumptions? This active engagement sharpens your analytical skills and prevents you from accepting false or incomplete information. In practice, you might take notes, summarize arguments, or discuss ideas with others to deepen your understanding. This approach transforms reading from a passive activity into an intellectual workout. By combining wide reading with critical analysis, you build a rich mental library and the tools to navigate it effectively. This prepares you to approach problems with nuance and depth, essential qualities of intelligence and critical thinking. In sum, embracing adversity and cultivating critical reading habits are two powerful methods that feed into each other. Challenges stimulate your growth, while wide, critical learning equips you with the wisdom to meet those challenges effectively. Together, they propel your mind toward clarity, resilience, and insight. Let's dive into Method 5, engaging in meaningful dialogue and debate. The Stoics recognized that wisdom doesn't develop in isolation. Interaction with others through conversation, questioning, and even disagreement is a powerful way to sharpen your thinking. When you exchange ideas with others, especially those who challenge your views, your mind is forced to clarify, defend, or reconsider its positions. Imagine your mind as a blade that becomes sharper, not by resting, but by striking against other blades. Dialogue is that sharpening force. But it's not just any conversation. It's thoughtful, respectful, and open engagement. The Stoics emphasize the importance of listening deeply, speaking with purpose, and being willing to revise your opinions when presented with better arguments. When you approach discussions with the attitude of learning rather than winning, you open yourself to growth. This means asking good questions, seeking to understand before responding, and being comfortable with uncertainty. It's okay not to have all the answers. In fact, admitting what you don't know is a mark of intellectual humility and strength. Constructive debate also trains you to spot logical errors, emotional reasoning, and unfounded claims, not only in others' arguments but in your own thinking. This awareness is critical for developing sound reasoning skills. In daily life, you can cultivate this by engaging in conversations that challenge your views, joining study groups, or simply discussing complex topics with friends or mentors. Practice active listening and respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Method 6 is about cultivating intellectual humility and openness. This might be the most important trait for boosting intelligence and critical thinking. The Stoics constantly reminded themselves of how little they truly knew. Socrates, whom many Stoics admired, famously claimed that wisdom begins in knowing that you know nothing. Humility prevents the arrogance that blinds you to new information or perspectives. It keeps your mind flexible and open to correction. When you acknowledge the limits of your knowledge, you create space for learning and growth. This attitude also protects you from dogmatism, the stubborn clinging to beliefs despite evidence to the contrary. Intellectual humility encourages curiosity and a genuine desire to understand, not just to defend your ego. Practicing this means welcoming feedback, admitting mistakes, and seeking out diverse viewpoints. It means being comfortable with uncertainty and complexity rather than craving simple answers. When combined with the previous methods, questioning assumptions, reflecting, engaging in dialogue, intellectual humility becomes the soil where true critical thinking flourishes. By embracing your fallibility and remaining open to learning, you empower yourself to continuously refine your mind, deepen your understanding, and approach problems with greater wisdom. Together, meaningful dialogue and intellectual humility are the social and psychological foundations that keep your thinking sharp, balanced, and ever-evolving. They remind you that intelligence is not a fixed trait, but a lifelong journey of growth and discovery. Now let's talk about Focus Method 8 and how vital it is for boosting intelligence and critical thinking. The Stoics placed immense value on attention and presence. They understood that a distracted mind is a fragmented mind, unable to reason clearly or grasp complexity. To think deeply and critically, you need the ability to direct your attention fully to the matter at hand. Imagine your mind as a lantern in the dark. When you scatter your attention in every direction, the light is weak and unfocused. But when you concentrate your lantern on one point, you illuminate it clearly. Focus brings clarity, depth, and precision to your thinking. The challenge in our modern world is enormous. Constant notifications, multitasking, and an endless stream of information pull your attention in 1,000 directions. The Stoics would advise cultivating discipline over your mind, learning to say no to distractions and yes to what truly matters. Practically, this means setting aside dedicated time for deep work, reading, reflection, problem-solving without interruption. It also involves mindfulness practices that train you to bring your attention back when it wanders. When you strengthen your focus, your brain forms stronger neural connections related to concentration and reasoning. This neurological foundation supports more complex thought processes and better decision-making. Moreover, focused thinking helps you avoid cognitive overload, allowing you to engage with problems more effectively, see connections others might miss, and make better judgments. So, cultivating focus isn't just about productivity, it's about creating the mental conditions necessary for true intelligence and critical thinking to flourish. Moving on to Method 9, applying logical reasoning and Stoic dialectics. Logic is the skeleton of critical thinking, the structure that supports clear, sound arguments. The Stoics were keen students of logic and dialectics, seeing them as essential tools for sorting truth from falsehood. Logical reasoning allows you to identify errors in arguments, avoid fallacies, and build coherent, persuasive conclusions. It's like learning the grammar of thinking. Without it, even good ideas can become confusing or misleading. Stoic dialectics is the art of examining opposing views through reasoned dialogue, seeking clarity and consistency. It's not about winning debates, but about uncovering truth through careful questioning and analysis. To develop this skill, start by familiarizing yourself with common logical fallacies, errors like straw man arguments, false dilemmas, or circular reasoning. Recognizing these helps you avoid them in your own thinking and spot them in others' claims. Practice constructing arguments by laying out premises clearly and ensuring your conclusions follow logically. When reading or listening to others, pause and ask, are the claims supported by evidence? Are the conclusions justified? Engaging in dialectical exercises, discussing ideas with others, playing devil's advocate, or writing argumentative essays further hones your reasoning. By mastering logic and dialectics, you equip your mind to navigate complex information, discern credible sources, and communicate your ideas effectively. This method enhances not only your analytical abilities but also your intellectual integrity, ensuring your beliefs rest on solid foundations. Together, focus and logical reasoning form the practical toolkit that makes intelligence actionable. They help you think clearly, solve problems efficiently, and engage the world with sharpness and insight. Now let's explore Method 10. Practicing emotional regulation to enhance clarity. The Stoics knew well that unchecked emotions can cloud judgment and derail critical thinking. When fear, anger, or anxiety take hold, the mind becomes reactive and short-sighted. To think clearly and wisely, you must learn to manage your emotional responses. The Stoics taught that emotions themselves aren't the problem. It's our judgments about them that cause distress. By changing your internal dialogue, you can shift from being controlled by emotion to mastering it. For example, when anger arises, instead of letting it drive impulsive actions, you pause and say to yourself, "This feeling is natural, but I will respond with reason and virtue." Self-talk becomes a powerful tool here. Calm, rational internal words help soothe emotional turmoil and restore mental balance. This discipline creates space between stimulus and response, allowing you to choose thoughtful action over reactive behavior. Stoic practices such as negative visualization, imagining potential hardships before they happen, prepare your mind to accept difficulties without panic. This anticipation reduces the shock of unexpected events and lessens emotional volatility. Emotional regulation also involves recognizing when your feelings are based on false beliefs or exaggerated fears. Questioning these thoughts weakens their grip and opens the path to clearer thinking. Developing this skill takes practice. Mindfulness, journaling, and deliberate self-talk are effective techniques. Over time, you build resilience against emotional upheavals and maintain mental clarity even in stressful situations. When your emotions are in check, your critical thinking sharpens. You analyze problems calmly, weigh options objectively, and make decisions aligned with your values. Emotional mastery is not about suppressing feelings, but integrating them wisely. Finally, Method 11, living according to virtue and purpose. The Stoics believed that true intelligence isn't just about thinking well, but about living well, acting with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. When your thinking aligns with a clear sense of purpose and moral virtue, your intelligence gains depth and direction. Living virtuously means that your critical thinking serves not selfish interests, but the greater good and your own flourishing. It shapes your priorities, guiding you to focus on what truly matters. Purpose fuels motivation and perseverance. When you know why you seek knowledge and wisdom, you stay committed even when challenges arise. Your mind becomes a compass pointing toward meaningful goals. Integrating virtue into your thinking creates harmony between thought and action. This unity brings peace and confidence, knowing you're living authentically and wisely. To cultivate this, regularly reflect on your values and how your decisions align with them. Ask yourself, is this choice courageous, just, wise, temperate? Let these questions guide your reasoning and actions. By living with virtue and purpose, your intelligence becomes not only sharper, but also wiser, able to navigate life's complexities with integrity and grace. Together, emotional regulation and virtuous living complete the picture of a mind that's not only intelligent, but truly wise. They ensure that your critical thinking is balanced, compassionate, and anchored in what matters most. As you adopt these 10 proven methods, you'll notice your mind growing clearer, sharper, and more resilient. You'll approach problems with confidence, navigate uncertainty with calm, and make decisions that serve both yourself and others. The journey to boosting your intelligence and critical thinking is ongoing, but with patience and dedication, the transformation is profound and lasting. As we draw this journey to a close, I want you to take a moment and reflect on everything we've explored together. Intelligence and critical thinking aren't fixed traits you're born with or without. They are skills you can cultivate, sharpen, and expand throughout your life. The Stoics understood this deeply. They saw wisdom not as a destination, but as a lifelong pursuit, requiring consistent effort, reflection, and practice. The 10 methods we discussed, questioning assumptions, mindful reflection, embracing adversity, reading widely and critically, engaging in meaningful dialogue, cultivating humility, developing focus, applying logic, regulating emotions, and living virtuously, are more than techniques. They are a philosophy of mind and life. Together, they form a framework that will guide you to think clearer, reason better, and live with greater purpose. I encourage you to take these methods and make them your own. Start small if you must. Pick 1 or 2 practices and commit to them daily. Journaling, questioning your thoughts, or setting aside time for focused reading can all be powerful beginnings. The key is consistency and patience. Growth often happens in quiet, steady steps rather than sudden leaps. Remember, the road to wisdom is filled with challenges and setbacks. There will be times when your mind wanders, when emotions cloud your judgment, or when old habits tempt you back. That's natural. What matters is your willingness to return to these practices, to learn from mistakes, and to persist. The beauty of Stoicism is that it meets you wherever you are. Whether you're facing great trials or simple daily frustrations, these methods can help you build a mind that is resilient, sharp, and calm. A mind capable of seeing the world as it is and acting wisely within it. So I invite you now to step forward with courage and curiosity. Take ownership of your mental life. Become the thoughtful, critical, and virtuous thinker you were meant to be. Your intelligence is a gift, but like all gifts, it grows when you nurture it. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. May your mind grow ever wiser, your judgments clearer, and your life richer. The journey continues, and your potential is limitless. Keep walking the path with determination and grace.